Good night and welcome to this edition of Tok Piksa. Over a week ago, Papua New Guinea strengthened its Commonwealth ties by welcoming members of the royal family during a short visit to our shores. Prince Charles reminisced about his early days in the country when he spent time in the Oro province back in 1966, as well as representing the Queen when PNG gained independence back in 1975. It was his fourth visit to PNG, but a first for his wife. It's safe to say the public in the nation's capital embraced the Prince of Wales and the Duchess of Cornwall. The commemorating of the Queen's Diamond Jubilee was trouble-free with security heightened for extra measure. Here's a look at how the events unfolded.
He was the Queen's representative back in 1975, when our nation gained independence. Flash forward 37 years later, and he returned to the country on the 3rd of this month. This time to celebrate the Queen's Diamond Jubilee. He was accompanied by his wife, the Duchess of Cornwall. They were met by Prime Minister Peter O'Neill and Foreign Affairs Minister Rimbing Pato. The media fought to capture the right shots. On their way to the Airways Hotel, the crowd came alive, waving to the couple. At Airways Hotel, Governor General Michael Ogio presented the insignia of a Grand Companion of the Order of Logohu to Prince Charles, while the Duchess was presented with the insignia of Companion of the Order of the Star of Melanesia. The next day there was a cultural extravaganza at the Sir John Guy Stadium. Groups arrived early, preparing to showcase their songs and dances. One by one, local dignitaries arrived on location, ready for the royal couple. The royals arrived on schedule at 10:15, as stated in the program. The Duchess wore a white chiffon dress designed by British designer Anna Valentine. Pottery designs added a PNG touch to it. Prince Charles, as the chief of the Moyam troops, wore the Royal Pacific Island Regiment uniform.
To hear and receive God's holy word, to give thanks for the 60-year reign of Elizabeth, our Queen, to pray for our beautiful country, Papua New Guinea.
After a brief ecumenical service, the handing over of the Queen's colours.
doing presently to a regiment in power and sound, kneeling.
Prime Minister Peter O'Neill gave the welcome remarks.
During their Majesty's reign, the Commonwealth has grown and has diversified. The Commonwealth today is a nation of 54 nations, including 16 in which their Majesty is the head of state. The one common factor across the Commonwealth is Her Majesty's the Queen.
Prince Charles' opening lines in perfect Tok Piksa was given the approval by the public.
Me number one Piccadilly belong Mrs. Quinn. Now one fella turn Lapan belong Manus. Me bring in big fella Tok Hamamas belong Majesty Queen belong Papua New Guinea. Now all get a house, line belong Neil on this fella, time belong Diamond Jubilee belong Mrs. Quinn. Me Tok Piksa all right? Thank you all for such a tremendous welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so pleased to return to Papua New Guinea and to be joining you here for so happy a celebration. My wife, for whom this is a first visit, has for many years heard me talk about this wonderful country and its people. So I'm delighted that she finally has the chance to experience Papua New Guinea's warmth and beauty for herself.
Father Lucas Bajigi had a personal encounter with Prince Charles over 45 years ago when the prince went to school in Tufi in the Ora province. He remembers sharing a garden house with the prince.
Our headmaster, Father Brian Roberts, he received a letter from Jiran Grammar School in Melbourne, and on that letter he saw that Prince Charles' Queen's son is coming with the Jiran Grammar School boys. So one Monday morning on a parade, he mentioned to all the school said, when Jiran Grammar School comes here to visit us, among those we are going to have a Queen's son, Prince Charles. So I want you to build a garden house. So he asked all the school boys to build a garden house, like a competition. So when we finished building our garden houses, then the headmaster and the committee went around inspecting the garden houses and selection. So they went on first time, they chose 3 garden houses, one from Awog, Kokoda, and one from Tufi, and now state one is my Sephora number 1 garden house. And then they went around again the second time, and then the committee, headmaster and the committee, they chose our Sephora number 1 garden house because we built a strong and beautiful garden house.
So he slept in that one, didn't he?
Yeah.
He stayed there. And
So-
whereabouts was this?
The Popondetta, Oro province.
Popondetta.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a boys' school up at Popondetta.
They paid a visit to the National Bird of Paradise and Orchid Garden. There an orchid was named after the Duchess.
To the small, the glory in them all is God and God alone. God and God alone.
Boira village came alive. The Motuan village was chosen because of its history in the Hiri trade. There they unveiled a plaque commemorating the royal visit to the aid post. They got a glimpse of traditional arts and even a lagatoy was on display. A mangrove planting session was organized by Worldwide Fund for Nature. Prince Charles planted this mangrove.
They got you planting mangroves.
Thanks for coming.
Two Papua New Guineans were knighted in the evening, including Brown Bai for service to agriculture, manufacturing and petroleum development, and Theophilus George Constantino for service to commerce and manufacturing, construction and hospitality, as well as community causes. Later on, at a state dinner, Prince Charles reminisced about his early days in the country.
Think about it, of course. I first came here to Papua New Guinea, as I was saying earlier today, nearly 50 years ago. That worried me greatly. And I suspect that an awful lot of people, for instance in Australia, have no idea that I went to school there in 1966. Such are the things one has to suffer as you get older. And of course I suddenly realized when looking at the list of people that I was going to meet when I came to Papua New Guinea, but quite a large proportion of ministers in the government here were only about 1 or 2 years old when I came here in 1966, which makes me feel even older. And of course, I was lucky enough to return at the request of Her Majesty in 1975, when independence was granted. And I enjoyed that visit enormously, and I shall never forget that, to say the least. And I then was lucky enough to come back in 1984, and again, I think that was the occasion of the opening of the new Parliament. Again, something I shall never forget. So I do have some little knowledge, perhaps, about what makes Papua New Guinea and her people so special. And so today, for both my wife and myself, and it was of course her first visit, which was wonderful to be able to introduce her to Papua New Guinea, the welcome we received was so wonderfully warm and friendly and special that I promise you we shall leave here tomorrow with immense regret, but also with the shouts of welcome ringing in our ears, which we shall also be able to convey to Her Majesty when we return. Probably exhausted and on our knees by then. Quite how I'm able to articulate the words this evening, I don't know, through jet lag, but it is amazing what 1,000 years of breeding will do. But ladies and gentlemen, I cannot thank you enough for your kindness and your welcome, and to be able to renew old friendships, which matter so much, because it is those friendships and those relationships which matter to such a huge degree in maintaining the strength of the Commonwealth, which is based more than anything else, of course, on all its associations and its links amongst every kind of different professional body and goodness knows what else. That is the lifeblood of the Commonwealth, and why it makes it so special, and why it is so unique as an association throughout the world. And I pray we could make as much of it as possible in the years to come. The world needs it very badly. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your welcome, your kindness, and we shall never forget this visit here to Papua New Guinea. Thank you.
The Prince of Wales visited the La Salle Hohola Youth Development Centre. It was a rare visit for the school, a prized memory for the campus and students and staff. He took his time speaking to students, asking questions like where they are from and how many languages do they know. He was taken to a number of rooms showcasing skills the students learn at the school, from catering to heavy-duty courses like welding and mechanical work.
They all learn the same trades. The girls also learn motor mech and carpentry and metal fabrication. Likewise, the boys learn sewing and home economics.
Impressed by what he saw, he spent more than 5 minutes in each area.
People, this is my first time to see Prince Charles visiting our school, so I'm very proud.
I'm honored that he's coming to my school and he have chosen my school, so I'm very happy about that.
Also present were a group of friends called the All Nations Group. They've been instrumental in raising 71,000 kina for the school.
It's for a good cause, because these students, they're actually students who cannot make it to the mainstream schooling.
Yeah.
They're left out. And then the brothers take them in here, put them to school, give them education, provide basically everything for them. And you know, it's really minimal, it's not much. So we come in to help when we can.
Meanwhile, the Duchess of Cornwall was in another part of town at House Ruth Women's Refuge. Away from the glaring lens of the media, she spoke with victims of domestic violence. After the private meeting, she talked to invited guests. City Mission boys were also given the opportunity to speak to the Duchess. The final part of the program for the royal couple was at Ella Beach War Memorial, where they lay wreaths to remember fallen Allied forces during World War II. No doubt the royals have left a positive mark on Papua New Guineans and strengthened the Commonwealth spirit. But most importantly, the people of Papua New Guinea showed respect and restraint towards their Royal Highnesses.
And that's a wrap for Tok Piksa. Next week, we take a closer look at the Manus province, where we find out how the leaders plan to move the province forward and how the Environment and Conservation Minister plans to revitalize national parks in the country. Until then, good night.